Welcome to Club Doom, where identity theft is no laughing matter. Well, except in this case, because it's kind of funny. We're all familiar with the great Christian Weston Chandler. He revolutionized the independent comic book scene with his genius mid-2000s webcomic, Sonichu, a hilarious tongue-in-cheek parody of all the strange tropes found in DeviantArt Sonic the Hedgehog fanfictions coming out at the time. Weird, out-of-touch crossovers, over-sexualizations, throwing out the main cast to focus on a gaggle of original characters who are just all the same person. Hell, he even made fun of the self-insert Mary Sue trope by literally putting himself in the comic. I wish I had the comedic talent to think of something like that. He was also a prolific musician, writing songs under the alias of Christian and the Hedgehog Boys, a made-up band from the comic, and with that, he helped revolutionize the online music distribution scene before DatPiff and Spotify were even a thing, with songs like Breakdown. Awake.
Never felt this safe in the nighttime. Paradise got a brand new face.
And who could forget his Billboard chart annihilating classic, So Need a Cute Girl.
Tell me why I'm stuck as a virgin with rage.
Now, there'd be a whole lot of sagas to Chris Chan's story, but many would argue none are as significant or as entertaining as the legendary Liquid Chris arc, the time he had to reclaim his own identity using nothing but his talent and devotion. Our story begins with Chris's YouTube account getting hacked. I mean, makes sense. If you was ever producing your own music back in the early 2010s, chances are you got at least 3 viruses while downloading a Win32 crack for FL Studios.
Which was the style at the time.
So naturally, Chris had to make a new account called C Chan Sonichu Quick. While working to make sure his new account was up to his quality standards, he noticed a particularly strange imposter occupying the site. Enter Ian Brandon Anderson, a rather odd, delusional fellow who made videos claiming to be the real Christian Weston Chandler. And he wasn't messing around. He had the voice, he had the drip, he even got his home address and childhood story memorized to a T. It was terrifying. To the average user who only heard of Chris in passing, it was convincing enough. And convinced people it did. It got to the point that the man in the pickle suit, an acquaintance Chris met during a harmless prank, had to inform him that people were giving him the title of Liquid Chris, based on Snake's clone from Metal Gear Solid, with the imposter Ian being called Solid Chris. So yeah, somehow people were actually buying into this. And if you've been on the internet, you know that public perception is considered reality. I mean, look what happened to Pop Hunnin'. All it took was a fake Lil Uzi Vert tweet and then boom, kid's career is done. So Chris had to act fast, as the Pickle Man warned him if he ain't finna do something soon, he gonna lose the copyright to Sonichu he worked so hard for in the previous sagas. So Chris made some update videos calling out the imposter and making sure people knew who the real Chris was. It was moderately successful. Chris's mainstay fans left the fake IBA Chandler account and subscribed to C-Chan Sonichu. After that, things were looking on the up and up. Like this finna be a one-time thing and then Chris could just move on with his incredibly successful life. In fact, he had just gotten back from Otakon trapping that Sonichu merch. But this when Ian would initiate the real beef. Ian would consistently harass Chris in the comment section of his videos, berating everything between his chain to his voice.
Here, whack. His jewelry, whack. His footsteps, whack. Me, I'm tight as fuck.
They say a hero is only as good as its villain, and this saga is no exception. To say Ian was a delusional lunatic is an understatement. On top of trying to straight up steal Chris Chan's identity, he was also prone to violent outbursts and harassing women. It got to the point that Ian was effectively dragging Christian's name through the mud, and Chris be getting sick of it. Now, this was way back when you could make like video responses on YouTube because the e-thoughts hadn't ruined it yet. So Chris began uploading response videos to prove to the public once and for all that he was the true and honest Christian Weston Chandler, and that a cheap copy would not outdo him. Ian would upload himself sucking at Guitar Hero, so Chris would upload himself performing the same song on acoustic guitar. Ian would upload himself sucking at Habla Español. Chris would showcase his linguistic skills by proficiently speaking multiple languages. And then came the final round, the Sing Star Challenge. Ian proposed a 5-round music video competition. The one to come out on top would prove once and for all that they are in fact the true and honest Christian Weston Chandler. Chris accepted and proceeded to drop 5 consecutive bangers, while Ian did his best Blueface impression. Naturally, the real Chris won by a landslide, and the fallout call where Ian geeks out is hilarious.
Do not come clean right now. I
Obviously, this wasn't enough for Ian, so he decided to play a tad dirty by trying to snatch Chris's love interest at the time, Casey. He first tried pretending to be Chris, per the usual, and that failed. He tried writing a Sonichu comic of his own where he pulls up with the strap and shoots Chris in the leg. This creeped Casey out, and that failed too. And then he tried calling Casey's father to get his blessing, and
Go and fucking crawl in the dirty, dank little hole where you fucking come from, you dirty, dragon-eating little fucking spastic.
it could have gone better. Could have gone better. It definitely could have been worse, but it could have gone better. Eventually, Ian resorted to stealing his parents' credit card and hiring elite hackers and hitmen from the dark web to kidnap Chris.
Tell them your name.
Christian Weston Chandler.
Are you the real Christian?
Yes.
No.
And it looked like Ian was finally going to win. But then Chris just kind of smacked the shit out of them all and dipped. Chris would eventually strike a deal with Microsoft, Sega, and Nintendo to start work on the first Sonichu video game. And as we all know, it was a bop. I mean, hell, it even managed to receive 0 punctuation, second only 10 out of 10 rating. First time that happened was when Duke Nukem Forever finally dropped. And if you watch The Escapist like I do, you know that that ain't happened since. Chris would then go on to marry Casey, divorce her for being boring and annoying, and then continue with his ever valiant and noble love quest, where he is currently dating one of the Kardashian sisters, which has sparked a whole new Solidus Chris saga of its own, as a new challenger named Kanye West trying to pull the same exact shit Ian did 10 years back. I guess some things just never change. But as Chris once said in his Hedgehog Boys hit single Power, screams from the haters, got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. And while Chris been enjoying the fruits of his labor while still getting into the occasional shenanigans, unfortunately Ian's story ain't got as much of a happy ending. Never being fully satisfied, Ian became a transsexual lesbian and legally changed her name to Christine Weston Chandler, as she never truly got over her obsessions. In fact, they had only gotten worse, with her now believing she is the reincarnation of Jesus Christ, and that she will bring upon an apocalypse that will destroy everything and recreate the world in her image, with Sonichu being real. She is now currently awaiting trial for crimes such as trespassing, assault, hit and run, and sexual assault. She has recently been transferred to an undisclosed location, leading onlookers to believe she had been taken to a mental health facility for further evaluation, which is probably for the best. While what she has done is abhorrent, I hope she gets the mental help she so desperately needs. And with that, my long-awaited video on the Liquid Chris Saga is done. I'll be getting back to reviewing Chris's legendary comic Sonichu, so expect an issue 11 video in the future. Catch y'all next time. Sweet nectar.